Have you ever wondered about the lavish lifestyles of Hamas's top leaders? Hamas officials live in luxury outside the war zone, while Gazans live in extreme poverty. With a combined net worth of billions, top Hamas officials live in luxury, surrounded by money and comfort. Join us as we look at where they live, what they do, and how they travel, showing the striking contrast between their opulent lifestyles and the hardship of those they claim to represent. But before we continue, like and subscribe if you love money. The investigation into the wealthy lives of Hamas's high officials began after Israel's embassy to the United States issued a tweet revealing their wealth. According to the tweet, Abu Mak is worth $3 billion, and Khaled Mashal is worth $4 billion. Ismail Hania is worth $4 billion, while Hamas has an annual turnover of $1 billion. So who are these three billionaires, and how did they get to be so wealthy? Ismail Haniyeh, Gaza's former prime minister, is believed to have been the richest of the three top leaders. Despite vowing to live solely on olive oil and za'atar spice, Haniyeh has been living a lavish lifestyle since 2019. He has been hiding at luxurious hotels in Qatar and Turkey, where he enjoys the finest rooms and services. Haniyeh frequently travels between Turkey, Istanbul, Moscow, and Cairo, where he talks to leaders from friendly nations. His private plane permits him to jet set around the world while the people of Gaza suffer. On January 29, 1962, a small child named Ismail Haniyeh was born into the dusty alleyways of the Al-Shanti refugee camp in the Gaza Strip. Nobody could have predicted that this modest beginning would serve as the takeoff for an incredible journey that would ultimately determine the course of Palestinian politics. Haniyeh's growth within Hamas was not without its challenges. The organization was constantly scrutinized and opposed by Israeli military and international organizations. Haniyeh's popularity and leadership qualities were put to the test in the historic 2006 election. He was chosen Prime Minister of the State of Palestine, being the first Hamas member to hold such a position. This victory sent shockwaves across the political establishment, as Haniyeh's rise to prominence shook the status quo and signified a transformation in Palestinian politics. Among the biggest challenges Haniyeh experienced while in power was the Israeli blockade of the Gaza Strip. After Hamas gained power in 2007, Israel put a strict blockade on the region that severely limited the movement of humanitarian aid, products, and services. This blockade had a terrible impact on Gazans, resulting in widespread poverty, unemployment, and a humanitarian crisis. In 2017, Haniyeh's status inside Hamas changed as he was elected chairman of Hamas Political Bureau, succeeding Khaled Mashal. Ismail Haniyeh's political journey illustrates the constant complex nature of Palestinian politics, especially in light of his arrest on the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing while carrying millions of dollars in cash that he wanted to move into Gaza. As the political scene changes, he continues to be a representation of strength and persistence in the face of difficulty. Haniyeh's position is constantly followed and investigated, particularly in light of the enormous wealth he earned through what many believe are corrupt ways. But now let's talk about our next person, which is Khaled Mashal. Khaled Mashal is another Hamas leader who lives in luxury. Another Hamas commander who lives in luxury is the former head of the organization's political bureau. After escaping Syria to avoid the Arab Spring, Mashal relocated to Qatar, where he manages real estate and financial activities. When he left Syria, he is alleged to have taken $1.5 billion from Hamas headquarters in Damascus. Mashal enjoys access to the best dining establishment, entertainment venues, and lodgings available because of his enormous wealth. On May 28, 1956, a small kid by the name of Khaled Mashal was born in the dusty town of Silwad, which is situated in the Jordanian-occupied West Bank. Mashal started active in student politics after joining the Muslim Brotherhood, a renowned Islamic organization, in 1971. His passion for justice and desire to make a difference in the lives of Palestinians drove his dedication to the cause. Mashal's life changed dramatically in 1983 when the Palestinian Islamic Organization held a private conference in an Arab state. This conference brought together representatives from the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, as well as Palestinian refugees from Arab states, laying the groundwork for the formation of Hamas. Mashal's constant focus and leadership qualities contributed significantly to the project's progress. Mashal's role in the formation of Hamas represented an important time in his life as he became a founding member of its political bureau. He went on to establish his place among Hamas senior ranks and acquire great wealth. His investment portfolio includes Egyptian banks and real estate projects in the Arabian Gulf countries, while he lives luxuriously in Qatar. During the 2014 Gaza conflict, Israel accused Mashal of corruption. In an interview, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated that this person Khalid Mashal is moving around 5-star hotel rooms in the Gulf states. He's enjoying the time of his life while purposely sacrificing his people as fodder for this horrible terrorist war against us. Next, let's talk about Musa Abu Marzouk. Musa Abu Marzouk, Hamas's second-in-command, is another high flyer in the group. Marzouk kept his money and grew his fortune over $2 billion. According to the Israeli embassy in the United States, it might exceed $3 billion. Marzouk's vast riches allow him to enjoy the finest luxuries and comforts. So how do leaders in Hamas get their hands on all this money? It is evident that they are not business moguls, so how do they come into all this wealth and riches? Well, from a strong armed resistance group to millionaire officials, Hamas is undoubtedly receiving funding from someplace, and the paper trail will surprise you since part of it runs all the way down to the White House. Hamas has a global financial network to channel donations from charities and friendly nations. Their funding techniques are as varied as they are bold, allowing them to continue operations despite increasing international restrictions. According to experts and officials, Hamas use a variety of techniques to collect funding. One of their key revenue sources is taxes placed on businesses under its jurisdiction. These taxes account for a considerable amount of their budget, which is estimated to be more than $300 million. But Hamas funding extends far beyond local sources. They have mastered the skills of moving cash through Gaza tunnels, an undercover approach that allows them to avoid inspection and obtain finances from a variety of sources. Most of the money that flowed into people's pockets in the Gaza Strip came from tunnel agreements and the establishment of a flourishing smuggling market, which is thought to have made several hundred millionaires in the Gaza Strip. According to Gaza sources, Haniyeh's fortune, like that of others high up in Hamas, came mostly from the booming tunnel industry. Senior Hamas figures, Haniyeh included, would levy a 20% tax on any trade moving via the tunnels. Tunnel agreements involved a transfer of $800 million in cash between 2007 and 2010. According to Hamas money traders, Hamas charges Gaza traders for everything from boxes of vegetables to expensive cars, and the leaders pocket the profits. The tunnels in Rafah, a town straddling the Gaza-Egypt border for example, saw a thriving fuel smuggling economy from Sinai. Petroleum subsidized by the Egyptian government was entering Gaza at a cheap price, but being sold for 8 times of that. Hamas members profited the most during the sale of this fuel. Today, more than half of Gaza's population lives in extreme poverty, but as early as 2012, there were claims of 600 millionaires making money thanks to the hundreds of underground tunnels at the border between Gaza and Egypt. Recently, in an effort to avoid detection, Hamas has also resorted to fake trade deals, cryptocurrency, and credit cards. Their usage of cryptocurrency in particular has sparked concerns. They have become one of the most successful users of cryptocurrency to fund terrorists. Hamas has been able to use the secrecy and traceability qualities of cryptocurrencies to its advantage, allowing it to accept donations from followers around the world while avoiding established financial channels. They have developed a secret system of firms that manage $500 million in investments across several countries, including Turkey and Saudi Arabia. In a dramatic move, the US Treasury imposed sanctions against these firms in May of 2022, revealing the scope of Hamas's financial reach and capacity to operate through normal channels. However, Hamas's financial network has expanded. Beyond these sources, Iran, a strong backer of the Palestinian cause, donates up to $100 million in annual financing to Palestinian groups, including Hamas. As a key backer of the crew, it not only supplies financial aid, but also weapons and training. Their means of transporting the money include shell companies, shipping operations, and even precious metals. Qatar is another major funder of Hamas. The small Gulf kingdom has been a generous benefactor, offering financial help and investments to the Palestinian territories since 2014. Their money flows through Israel, with Israeli and UN officials carrying cash across the border to Gaza. This aid directly assists the poorest Palestinian families and public servants in Gaza, thereby promoting stability and improving the quality of life for Palestinians. The cash is handed directly to needy families and public employees in Gaza. But who guarantees that this money does not find its way into Hamas's pockets? Qatar is not the only source of Hamas funds. The group is also suspected of receiving about $400 million in the last 2 years from the UN, which does not recognize Hamas as a terrorist organization. Since 2021, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency has provided Palestinians with $380 million. The fundraising secrets of Hamas have revealed the militant group's daring and resourcefulness. Despite risking restrictions, the means they use to collect funding, from local taxes to international backing, have allowed them to continue their operations. So what do you think about this unfair separation of wealth while the civilians struggle? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. But talking about billionaires on the eastern side of the world, what about in Asia? Are you curious to know what some of the billionaires in Asia have going on in their daily lives? Well, find out about a day in the life of Asian billionaires in this video right here.